go through the 6 basic punches in boxing. There's really only 3, but you can do them with both hands, so it becomes 6. So the 1 is the jab. So Kim's right-handed, which means his jab hand is his left hand, right? So he's just gonna, just like that. It's not a power punch. Unless you're Gennady Golovkin, you're not gonna knock anyone out. And if you're watching this, you're not Gennady Golovkin. So it's just a simple jab like that. Kim, try to do it faster. You know the sound is making it loud, but it's really not that strong. So this is a basic jab. It's called the 1. And that's Kim's doing. Just basically it's a setup punch. It's not a power punch. And Kim can also double it up through a double jab. Right? That also helps a little bit. It helps you get inside. It helps build pressure. It also helps if you're taller. You can keep shorter people away. And that's the jab. And the biggest mistake most fighters make with the jab is really just not using it enough. There are a lot of fighters who get away with not throwing too many of these, but most you'll see will do this quite often. Next punch is the cross. This is the first power punch we're doing. And a lot of people, they mess this up because they try to like loop their crosses or whatever. No, the cross is a straight punch. So Kim, he's going to sit down on this punch because he wants to make it hurt. And he's going to send it. Right, again. Right, stop for a sec. Now look at the way his legs are moving and his hips are moving. He's rotating into that punch. He's turning his entire shoulder into the punch. It's not an arm punch. You're not punching with your arm. You're sending your entire body into the pattern, like that. Yeah. Kim right now is demonstrating how to throw a cross. The point of a cross is it's like a jab, it's a straight punch, but you're getting a lot more rotation out of it. His hips are moving, his shoulders are moving, everything's moving, he's pivoting off his foot. It's like a jab, but it's a lot more, it's not as fast as a jab, you can't double it up as easily. You can still double it up, as Kim's about to show. Right? But it's not generally a punch you double up. It's more of like a one time you throw a punch and then you might send another punch, but it's usually sending one at a time. And these are knockout punches, so there is a bit more to them. It's not like a simple tap like a jab would be. You can sometimes just tap someone to set up like you would any other power punch, but this is generally a knockout punch. Next 2 punches we're doing is a left hook. The left hooks are a little bit tricky because left hooks, you can't just punch with them from your standard. You have to turn the other way. That's why people usually, they throw a right hand first and then they throw the left, because when you throw the right, it automatically turns your body. So Kim's first going to do it with the right hand first and then the left hook. So right, left, left. So now that you've seen how it's easier to do with the right hand first, now Kim just do it with the left. With the left, you want to do it quickly. You don't want it to be too bad. So usually you'll see a lot of Ryan Garcia does with the left hooks, where he's not turned as far to the right as most people would be. He kind of stands more square like this, so that he doesn't have to turn. You can do that, but what Kim's going to do is he's going to stand. Actually, Kim's already kind of square, so he's fine. So Kim's just going to throw left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook, left hook. Right? It's like it's just a rotation. And that's one of the most useful punches in boxing because it's a power punch and it's close to your opponent. So go to your jab hand. Right. So right now Kim is just throwing hooks. So the point of a hook is just kind of to rotate your body and make sure the punch comes from the side. The biggest thing about hooks is first of all the power. Left hook especially the power and the proximity to your opponent. The other thing about a hook is that it's not always the easiest punch to see because of the fact it's coming from the side. It's not in your direct vision. Right hooks aren't that common in the pros. You see a lot more crosses and overhands and obviously uppercuts as well. But the left lead hook is very commonly used. You'll see a lot of people get knockouts with it. Canelo sends a lot of lead hooks to the body and he gets stoppages there. Ryan Garcia just sends that lead hook to the face and he knocks people out in the first round. And those are hooks. We're going to throw a rear hook. This is called the 4. The lead hook was called the 3. Right? The jab was the 1. The cross was the 2. This is the 4. This is more simple. This is just basically the motion is almost the same as a cross. The difference is when you throw a cross, you keep your arm straight. When you throw a right hook or a rear hook, your arm's going to be kind of like a chicken wing like this. and you just turn it with the exact same motion. You're just holding your arm differently, and you're making it come at a different angle. That's also why hooks are really short punches. A lot of people snap like from way out here. You want to keep it a short punch that also keeps your wrist straight and it prevents your wrist from breaking and your bones from breaking. So right now, Kim is just throwing hooks. So the point of a hook is just kind of to rotate your body and make sure the punch comes from the side. The biggest thing about hooks, first of all, the power. Left hook especially the power and the proximity to your opponent. The other thing about a hook is that it's not always the easiest punch to see because of the fact it's coming from the side. It's not in your direct vision. Right hooks aren't that common in the pros. You see a lot more crosses and overhands and obviously uppercuts as well. But the left lead hook is very commonly used. You'll see a lot of people get knockouts with it. Canelo sends a lot of lead hooks to the body and he gets stoppages there. Ryan Garcia just sends that lead hook to the face and he knocks people out in the first round. And those are hooks. Next punch we're going to do is the 5. It's the lead uppercut. So for an uppercut, you're basically just going to turn down a little bit, almost like a hook. And you're just going to, but the difference is with a hook where you're rotating to the side, with an uppercut you're kind of leaning up, right? So your arm is already here from your guard, and then you're twisting your body so your arm comes up. Like imagine like coming across your other shoulder, right? Like that kind of motion. But you're turning with your hips to do it. You're not just moving your arm. So Kim's got to get in position. Just throw the lead hook. Sorry. Right now, Kim's just throwing an uppercut. You can see he's keeping them nice and short because an uppercut is a short punch. It's not like when you play Mortal Kombat and you can uppercut from the other side of the mat. It's a very short punch. It's like a hook, just coming from a different direction. These usually snap the head backwards, which causes a knockout. They're also very effective for body punches just because of where you can hit from that motion. And they're usually very strong because of all the rotational force you get out of it. Going to the rear uppercut, it's the exact same shit we already did. Right? So he shouldn't need to turn too much to do this because his body should already be turned a little bit because this is rear hand. So you see he's basically just shifting a little bit to get the power so he can go up. He's not turning too much to his side. He's not turning too much to his side because of the fact that he's already rotated that way. Right, so those are the 6 basic punches in boxing, and from there you can basically do whatever combo you want. So right now Kim's just throwing an uppercut. You can see he's keeping them nice and short because an uppercut is a short punch. It's not like when you play Mortal Kombat and you can uppercut from the other side of the mat. It's a very short punch. It's like a hook, just coming from a different direction. These usually snap the head backwards, which causes a knockout. They're also very effective for body punches just because of where you can hit from that motion. And they're usually very strong because of all the rotational force you get out of it. So Kim wants to throw a 1-2. He wants to throw a 2-3. If he wants to throw just continuous uppercuts with the left one first. So then from there you can basically do any punch you want, right? There's also overhands, but overhands aren't exactly a basic punch. An overhand is just basically, it's just a combination of a cross and a hook. The idea is that Kim has his guard up, an overhand kind of goes around like this to hit him. Those are punches that you can practice, but chances are if you've ever punched anything in your life, you've done it by accident. So yeah, those are the punches.